So last year, the year of our Lord 2023, I was on a mission from the horror gods to play all of the Resident Evil games in order. And I decided to sully that mission by ranking them. So general rules, I played all the originals and the remakes, but as long as the game has a remake, then I am only counting the remake in my ranking. I will maybe at a later date do a definitive full-on ranking of all of the games, but I haven't played Revelations yet, so we'll include the originals and the remakes when I play Revelations. This is just a reiteration of Rule 1, but main story games only, a game with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in it, and Village, which is technically 8, and it spells 8, but they don't call it that, but it is 8. Main story games only, no Code Veronica, no Revelations, and no Resident Evil 0. Like I said, I'll get to that at a later date. And last but not least, my opinions are my own.
That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
If they are different, just chalk it up to personal taste. I love them all, but I have things that I am personally looking for in Resident Evil games that not all the Resident Evil games give me, which is why there is a rank at all. But I love them all. If we don't agree, I'm gonna need you to calm down about it. Let's get this party started. While I adore the concept of wrapping up 2 trilogies with several interwoven stories, and I adore the idea of bringing all the characters back so that we can see them interact with each other, and I really love the idea of how they tried to move the series forward with 6 and some of the chances and creative choices they made to try to bring it into this new generation of gameplay. I hate that they abysmally failed at all of those things, even though they tried very hard. My first issue is the bringing back characters part, because where is Rebecca? Where is Claire? Where is Jill? I can forgive Claire because she's got her own storyline coming. And it is annoying because like the kind of idea is like to reunite everybody, but it's fine. I forgive Claire. She's got her own game series. But where's Jill? Like the one that started it all. Where the hell is Jill? Why do the devs hate Jill? Justice for Jill. It doesn't make any sense to me. My second issue with this game is that it is incredibly inconsistent. Like, Leon's gameplay feels like parts of it were not properly play tested, and it's really frustrating. Chris's parts play way smoother, but like a lot of his gameplay is like, if I wanted to do this, I'd just play Call of Duty. While I love that each character kind of has their own specific assigned play style and genre of gameplay, I love that, and I love that what that does for the narrative. But in one game, it feels a little inconsistent, especially since it wasn't kind of put together in a cohesive way. It really did feel like they had very separate teams working on each parts of the game, and instead of working together to make was something that seemed more united and flowed better together, everybody did their own thing and they just slapped it together, which I guess you ran out of time, I don't know, but it felt very rushed and really not what I'm used to with Resident Evil. All in all, this game has a great concept, abysmal execution, really fun multiplayer. Well, as a fan of action-adventure games, I think Resident Evil 5 is really fun. As a Black Resident Evil fan, I was just like a smidge disappointed. I absolutely adore Shiva, and playing this game in co-op is really fun. But some of the designs of the Black NPCs are questionable. The coloring on them are very gray, ashy, muddy. It's clearly by artists who don't usually make Black characters or darker skinned characters. Surprisingly enough, though, the cornrows in that game is way better than some newer games that come out with cornrows. So that's a good thing. The story was so close to giving its anti-capitalist, anti-colonist message, but it felt a little short of like really selling it. Like they are so close. They were just a little short of selling it. I think a remake of this game is absolutely called for. I would love some Black artists and writers involved to elevate that story and really say something about the way that large corporations and the Western world use and abuse the entire continent of Africa while blaming them for the issues that the capitalists create in these spaces. It's so close. And I would love just like a remake of that. And also I would like, personally, for some addition of puzzles. The game is just shoot, 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 run to the next section, big boss, shoot, shoot, shoot some more. There's like 1 to 2 parts of puzzle, and I would like some more of that. I think it could be very fun. But yeah, almost really great for me, but not quite. So Resident Evil 3 Remake is just so incredible. I adore this game. It's very fun. I love Jill. I love the concept of her getting this weapon created just for her to chase her down and running through town to try to figure out how to stop it and also save Raccoon City. I love the story. My only issue with the game is I wish it was longer. I do love Carlos. I just would think it's a little bit short. That's it. I want more of it. I just think it's short. Big fan of this one. That's all. That's all I gotta say. It's just that good. It's just really short. Resident Evil 1, the one that started it all. And I mean literally it all. This game is the blueprint for so many horror titles, so many action adventure titles. It is this gold standard of where we start our ideas for horror games and how they build upon it. It is so great. I would personally love a remake in the style of RE2, but I mean, as is, it holds up really well. I think for a game that had come out so early, it has excellent replayability value. It is just really fun, a really great introduction into this very scary world, which is wild because clearly they were just like, we're in a mansion and it's scary. And then everything else came after, but it works. It works so well. I still love this game. It's a really great time. I just want an RE2 style remake. Are we gonna get that? Are we? I would love it. I would love. So now that we're in the top 4, I feel like I'm just not channeling the energy of Resident Evil enough. Like I need to maybe change my outfit to channel the spirit of Resident Evil. Just give me a second. After this commercial break, I'll be right back. Ew! Thanks for the bits, y'all. Die! Bitch! Can I have her? Oh, I can't have her chainsaw. Oh, she can have it. She made me waste all my damn bullets. Like almost lost. Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! No! What the fuck is that? Did you use that? Oh shit! Did it work? Yes, it worked. Because I'm trying to listen out for that lady, and you fucking. God damn it! It worked. Oh, I know some shit's happening. Shit! Bitch! I can't. Oh my god! That guy's eating. No, go back to your food. Just sit there and eat your food. Okay. Here. Oh fuck! Oh my god! I hurt myself. I hurt myself in confusion. He said, "Give me." Oh my god! Oh! What the fuck? Ah! Why did you do that? Danger! Danger! The light is lost. Did you mean I got a flashlight? Maybe. Oh! Now that's better. Number 4, Resident Evil Village. I love the use of classic horror tropes inspired by Dracula, Frankenstein, and just like this terrifying gothic horror vibes. of this game, I think it's an excellent direction for Resident Evil to have gone in. It's different from anything they've done before, but it still upholds some of these elements that make Resident Evil games so special. And it still has the essence and vibes of games that have come before, fan favorite games that have come before. The first thing I think of is RE4 when I think about the vibes of that game, but it's like the first time we've really gotten into the classic horror. It's always been very modern Resident Evil, and it was so cool that they found a way to incorporate classic horror in this game. I just really enjoy the story, but the reason why it's not higher up in my ranking is just because I feel like even though the main themes of family still carry through from 7, it still feels a little bit disjointed. I will say it does feel more connected after playing the DLC and the rows of it all, but I really hope that if they try to do an RE9 trilogy wrap-up, they make those bonds and connections between 7 and 8 a little bit tighter. But like, the villains of the game were phenomenal. My favorite part of the game is the dollhouse. It is so creepy, it is so scary, and that baby lives in my nightmares. Resident Evil Village is such an excellent game, and it stands to be in my top 20 favorite games ever. It's just not my most favorite Resident Evil, which is saying a lot, so you know the next 3 games are gonna be great. Speaking of Resident Evil 4 Remake, number 3 on our list is going to be Resident Evil 4 Remake. Resident Evil 4 has always been the best balance of like action adventure feel that Resident Evil was trying to move into in the modern era, and the classic Resident Evil with horror and puzzles and creepy ambiance. I think they found that perfect balance with 4 and then kind of lost it again with 5. All I wanted from that damn remake was it to fix those very tanky, very annoying controls, and I got that and so much more. I love this remake so much. I can feel the pressures on the devs to make Ashley less annoying. I personally don't have a problem with Ashley. Okay, I am an Ashley apologist, but you can tell that they made a conscious effort to reverse a lot of the criticisms that Ashley gets as a character. And she kind of dwindled into like fangirly nothingness, which she was kind of fangirly before, but it was like really cheesy this time. But beyond that, I just really think they stepped it all the way up for this remake. Not to mention the Ada DLC, which was phenomenal, of course. I loved it. It was everything I hoped for. 4 continues to prove that the RE remakes are always worth trusting, and from here on out, 4 kind of solidified that anytime Resident Evil is doing a remake, I am gonna be there. They really proved themselves to be really excellent at updating these titles, and I'm just very excited to see if we get a RE5 remake and what direction they go with it, because I'm very curious. That game has a lot of fans with very specific tastes. I'm very curious to see where they go with it. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 Remake, number 3, so good, so excellent. I really loved it. Now for our number 2 pick, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I have to be completely honest here, I have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for Resident Evil 2, period. It is my introduction to not only Resident Evil games, but just horror games in general. I was a tiny little sapphire baby playing this game in the dark alone when the original came out, and it never left my mind as something I wanted to experience again. And 2 captured all of those moments really well and really upgraded and really modernized 2 in such a perfect way. 2 has the best version of you have to get the thing to get the other thing to get the big thing to attach to the little thing so that you can open the door so you can get a key, and then you get the key to go to another section which leads to a mask, and that's one of 3 masks, and when you get 3 masks you go and you get into a whole nother section of the game. I love that about Resident Evil. It's my favorite part. It's why some of my lower ranked Resident Evil games are there, because they don't have that. And Resident Evil 2 Remake does that perfection, beautifully. And I will always think about as one of the most scary moments in games ever, that section where you play as Sherry in the orphanage. Maybe it's because I was an adult playing it, but like playing as this tiny, sweet little child who is going through it with crappy parents, going through this very predatory, creepy situation. I loved it. I really love Resident Evil 2. I think it's a great introduction if you have a friend that you really want to get into Resident Evil. Don't start at 1, start at 2, actually. I think it really captures the essence of what Resident Evil is trying to do. Claire is an excellent heroine, so fun, like full of life and like really great determination. Leon is a dreamboat, of course. What a first day, Leon Kennedy. What a first day. I really love this game. I love the villains in it. I love the mixture of being chased down and you know, dealing with zombies. I just really enjoy this game a lot. I have played it so many times. I will play it so many times more. Just talking about it, I'm probably gonna play it after this. Finally, our number 1 pick, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I am in love with this game. I've played it 1.5 million times now, and it still never gets old. Some of the things that I really love about this game is, number 1, the setting. I have said for so many years of my life that if you want to make your horror story, movie, game, short story, whatever you're doing horror, if you want to make it instantly 30% more terrifying, place that shit in a Louisiana swamp. The essence of the swamp is just so creepy. There is something so majestic, but also terrifying and dirty and gritty, but like beautiful in a dirty way about the swamp, particularly Louisiana swamp. And like, it was just so genius to place it there, especially looking at the main thematics of the entire series. What better way to display a modern use of the political message of these games than to have the dumping happen in Louisiana, where we've seen dumping happen and people just freaking ignore it, and people of Louisiana lose jobs, livelihoods, their health. It is very true to life in a way that makes perfect sense for what they're going for. And it also helps carry through the thematics of this game and 8, which is just a family drama, okay? I am the youngest of 7 children. I have a taste for family dramas, and Resident Evil 7 does that so well. The dynamics of this family and each family member being a villain is so intriguing to me. I remember the first time that I realized that the brother, who I call Kyle, that is not his name, but it is his energy, that brother was actually bugging the whole time. It wasn't even the mold that made him that way, it's just the mold that made it worse. That gagged me. I loved everything about this game. Of course, I talked about the getting the thing for the thing, the other thing. That it does that really well. It's very straightforward. I know a lot of people don't like the game because it's very slow going, and a lot of the earlier moments are just very much you know, triggering cutscenes. But for me, what I love about horror, what I love about horror games and horror just as a genre in general, is that anticipation, that build up, the shadows on the walls that just make you think that any moment something's going to jump out at you. The silence everywhere except for the sound of the creaking of the floorboards and your footsteps walking through a space. There's a moment later on in the game where you see this pile of mold, and you know mold monsters come out of it, and instead of mold monsters, baby dolls fall from the ceiling and they squeak. It gets me every time. I know that shit is coming, and it gets me every damn time. I just think it's so creative. It's so scary. It's more dedicated to giving you the essence and experience of a really good horror experience than it is very complicated gameplay. And like I said, I will admit a lot of it is triggering some cutscenes. But quite frankly, if you really want to challenge yourself in that game, there are plenty of ways to do it. Play that game on Madhouse. I dare you. Have fun. But honestly, Resident Evil 7 is by far my favorite. I love everything, all the details that they have put into this game. And I know some people feel a lot of, nothing ways about Ethan as a lead for the story. And that's kind of the point, but I love him. This man lost his wife for 3 years, and all he had to do was get an email with an address, and he was like, I'm going. That man is a systems engineer. He don't know nothing about nothing. That's another thing that makes the gameplay so intriguing, is that after playing 5 and 6 with people who are experienced, they are not civilians, and they know exactly what they're doing. Playing as Ethan is just like a little bit frustrating because he's so slow and it takes him so long to do certain things. And then you see that growth from 7 to 8, where he gets a lot better at handling a gun, at running away from a thing, and having some gumption, putting a fire under his butt. I really enjoy that in a horror game because that just adds so much to the tension that the character you're playing will just not, for the love of God, move faster. I loved it. The whole situation with Mia is heartbreaking, which, by the way, I know we talked about 8 already, but I need to know why Mia wouldn't raise her daughter. That's absurd. Anyway, we're not getting into that right now. We're talking about 7. That game is just so impeccable to me as far as creating an experience. And a lot of people will say, as far as creating a full immersive experience, there are games that do it way better, but I am telling you, Resident Evil 7 is a master class of what video games can do in creating these beautiful, scary, tense experiences with the art and technology that we have at our fingertips. I cannot say enough about how much I love Resident Evil 7. In fact, I will be playing a lot of Resident Evil 7. I have just a cute, quick little announcement before we're done. So, quick announcement, I will be learning how to speedrun Resident Evil 7. I love the game so much that I had to find another excuse to play it over and over and over again. And what a better excuse to play a game 1.5 million times than speedrunning it. I'm going to start learning the nuances of the game and like getting them in my bones by doing the 4-hour challenge first and really getting to know each and every crevice of this game. And then we're gonna try to speedrun it. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do glitches, but that might be a thing we get into. But we're going to start every 3rd Saturday of the month. It'll be Speedrun Saturday, and we're gonna start with Resident Evil 7. We're gonna be playing the hell out of this game. Right now, I am clocked in at about 3 hours. I did 2:54 yesterday. The day before I did 2:40. So we're doing great time. I've completed the 4-hour challenge, just not on my PC. So if you want to come and watch me play a game that I absolutely adore over and over again as fast as possible, hang out with me on Twitch every 3rd Saturday for Speedrun Saturday with Resident Evil 7. Done quick, fast, and cute. I'm really excited. And I would love for you to join me and cheer me on or give me tips or tell me where all the good stuff is. I would love that. I'm learning. Yay!